The John LeBanc Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised. And alert the media. The John LeBanc Show is broadcasting loud and clear. Well, it's nice to see some people are finally coming around. It's a good thing to see. I mean, it's finally out in the open, isn't it? That this new $1.3 trillion spending bill that the president was going to sign, then he didn't want to sign, but signed anyways. Which he claims no one had time to read. And he says what's in it and what's not in it. Yet, nobody had time to read it, Mr. President, according to you. We've got some audio coming up later to demonstrate what the president said. But apparently he's unhappy about the bill. I mean, I'm unhappy about the bill, $1.3 trillion. I mean, what difference would this bill be like if Hillary Clinton was the president?
What difference at this point does it make?
Do you actually think this bill would have been any different? And for $1.3 trillion, this only funds the government until September.
What difference at this point does it make?
Can you imagine? That's how expensive it is to run the government now. Or they claim that's how expensive it is. You think we could cut a little fat on that? Is it possible that we could cut some of the fat off of that just a little bit? We get a $80 billion increase in defense spending. We get $1.6 billion to build a border security fund.
I guarantee you there's no problem. I guarantee.
And the border security is going to go into, surveillance and technology to structures that already exist.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so no new wall or very little new wall is going to be built with this massive $1.3 trillion spending budget that only funds the government until September. So what's that, 6 months? Woo! 6 months. What most of us could do with $1.3 trillion. What most of us could do with $1.3 million or $1.3 thousand, to be honest. We'd like that. Yeah, we're not going to see that. I mean, we just had the recent tax bill there in December. I can continue to bring that one up because that's when I really went south on the Trumpster. I mean, I'd been on the fence for a while about him. But when we get a supposed tax cut that benefits rich corporations, wealthy corporations, yet the individual gets diddly squat. We don't get rid of Obamacare. I mean, who is this guy? Who is this guy that's the president? Because he is doing a complete 180 on what he promised during the election, during the campaign.
In many cases, I probably identify more as a Democrat.
I mean, he even went out to his little Twitter there and said this, just before signing the bill, not long before it. I'm considering a veto of the omnibus spending bill based on the fact that 800,000 plus DACA recipients have been totally abandoned by the Democrats. DACA and Democrats, that was a thing. They were on the same side of things. And I thought Donald Trump opposed legalizing illegal immigrants in any shape or form. Now it's like he's the Democrat. And all the agendas so far that have gotten any traction or passed have had, well, a Democrat flavor to them. Some might say that the tax plan wasn't Democrat orientated. It sure wasn't Republicanism. It sure wasn't to help the individual out. I've talked to a bunch of people. Their paychecks haven't changed one bit. We were supposed to see something in February. You know, it's a joke. The whole thing's a joke. When I told everybody, when I began the campaign of none of the above back in 2016, remember Banger 2016? Nobody got the joke. Nobody got the idea behind it.
The following advertisement is paid for Banger for President 2016.
Donald Trump. He wants single-payer health care.
Everybody's got to be covered. This is an un-Republican thing for me to say, because a lot of times they say, no, the lower 25%, they can't afford private. But everybody's going to be taken care of much better than they're taken care of now.
He's even said he's a Democrat.
In many cases, I probably identify more as a Democrat.
So why the hell is he running as a Republican?
Makes you scratch your head.
Oh, I'm confused, man. So when both parties are on the left,
Then do the right thing.
vote for none of the above, man. Because what difference does it make anyways? We're all screwed.
Banger 2016.
I'm John LeBang, and I approve this message. They thought I was actually running for president when I wasn't actually running for president.
The following advertisement is paid for Banger for President 2016.
Hillary Clinton, she's ugly. And do you really want to hear this for the next 4 years?
What difference at this point does it make?
Or this? Or even this? I don't think so.
So do the right thing.
Vote for none of the above, man, or else you'll get this.
The world must understand that the United States will act decisively if necessary, including with military action.
Banger 2016.
I'm John LeBang, and I approve this message. You know, I could be angry about this whole thing. I could be sitting here screaming on the radio. I've heard people. Now we got people coming around. Finally, the people who were so far into Trump's corner and wouldn't budge from that. Finally, they're starting to ask questions. Saw some videos yesterday. I'm like, oh, now you're coming around. Now you're getting it. And because I wasn't on the Trump bandwagon last year pretty much, I was pointing out things. If we go back to when the election happened and he was elected president, someone said, I don't want to say who, you don't want to, I forgot the guy's name, but someone told you, I remember, saw a video or heard his radio show or something. I might even have been present there, I'm not sure, but I heard this one guy, someone, I can't remember his name, saying, now we have to be vigilant. Now that Donald Trump's in office, we've got to stick to our guns and stay on him and make sure what he promised came true. But instead of that, we had the cheerleaders, tons of cheerleaders, because their guy finally won. Tons of cheerleaders ignoring this little fact and that little fact and that. I mean, they jumped on the Q bandwagon. Notice how people are starting to give up on Q now. It was a big thing for a while. Q got good 6-7 months of traction there. But it's not like that anymore. People are starting to question Q. And they're questioning the president. They're like, this is not what you promised. You weren't pro-DACA when you were running for president. You said we got to decrease the spending in the government. Heck, ladies and gentlemen, we just passed $21 trillion in debt. $21 trillion in debt. This funding bill that the president says he'll never sign again. Why did you sign it in the first place?
We're stupid. We'll take care of you. We'll pay.
Is it because you're under a tremendous amount of pressure and you want to look like you're doing something positive for everybody? You want to make yourself look good in the polling numbers? Because all the things that have been thrown at you over the past year and a half? Or is it that we've been duped? Were we duped from the beginning? They knew there was an opposition to the establishment, so they sent somebody out there. They being whatever organization you think runs the world, whatever group controls everything, the elite. I don't care what you call them. I've given up calling them anything. They're just them. Those buggers. Did they send a guy out there to give you a choice between scumbag Hillary or a guy that would disgrace the whole country and not hold up to his word? Rock star, movie star, TV star, WrestleMania star.
Just simpering control freak.
And they figured if you went for the reality star there, then they would punish you. And isn't that what has been happening ever since Trump has been elected? The people who were behind him have had to endure some kind of punishment one way or the other, whether it's the highlighting of the wackiest of the conspiracy theorists by the mainstream media to discredit the entire group of people who put their vote behind Donald Trump. So the establishment didn't get their way by getting Hillary in there. Their backup plan might have been Trump. If you don't want the one we want in office, if you don't want her, then you can have Trump, but we're going to just throw everything at you. FBI probes. I mean, it's been a constant barrage on the president, which translates to anybody who voted for him. And if he was put there to do such a thing, to be the... He doesn't care if he's put down or disgraced. I mean, the man has been involved with wrestling. So it's okay to be humiliated in the spotlight. He doesn't care how, as long as he's getting his, whatever his might be. And on the other hand, you could think that this man is being destroyed. Everything that they're throwing at him hasn't stuck yet. But now they're breaking out the hookers. They're breaking out his extramarital affairs, his relationships. There are a few other things that they could attack, but looks like they're now just trying to destroy his marriage, which I don't know if he cares. I don't know what he cares about anymore. I really don't understand where this guy's perspective is if he is trying to do something good for the country. Now, if he's just in there to be the actor of this time period, maybe the more credible people don't want that kind of scrutiny that the president gets. So they throw up these actors now. Here, you take Donald Trump. Once you're sick of Trump, we'll send you somebody else that you can hate on for a little while. And we finally have a group of people who were so embedded in his camp now waking up to the fact that maybe this guy isn't who we thought he was. And that one guy, I just can't remember his name, that was telling everybody. That's how I mean, even though he was probably right, he's just so small and insignificant. He was a nobody. But I remember him saying something to the fact that, T has admitted to